So AH just proved to the world that she is going to lose her appeal. No wonder her lawyers are saying she's freaking out and panicking behind the scenes and begging others right now not to sue her. See, AH filed part of her appeal today, and this thing, it gives away the game. Why? Because it shows you just how damaging words like actual malice are. You can tell she doesn't want that attached to her. Why? Because her insurance company, that's one of the reasons they may end up suing her and winning. Plus, she ends up calling herself out, self-owning over lies and so much more. You and I, we're going to discuss this stuff too. And remember, once this is lost, that's when the fun really gets going. I mean, we're talking about lawsuits. We're talking about people speaking out. That includes her lawyers. This is going to be fun times. I mean, this is going to be fun times indeed. All right. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day. I hope you are doing excellently. We get to see AH's appeal. We get to see how she's going to do this. JD's victory, it is secure here too. Why? Because not only is this thing weak, it is a self-call out. I mean, remember when she talked about medical records, for example? She had so many that had been suppressed. Yeah, she lied about that. You get to see why. You get to see about, again, actual malice. You know, the words that are causing her real problems when it comes to litigation. She may be on the hook for $10 to $15 million because of those little words. She brought up charitable donations too. How dare that come up in the courtroom, and so much more. I mean, she starts out here talking about forum. The forum was inappropriate. Of course, that's their argument too. They started out the trial trying to get it dismissed that way. Yeah, why wouldn't they start the appeals that way too? Another thing that they tried to hammer again and again was the idea that there was a UK decision that should really suspend the U.S. one, right? Yeah, no U.S. court is going to apply that. They are not going to overturn U.S. verdict with a foreign verdict. Plus, she wasn't a party there. She wasn't allowed to be asked anything, to be taken to task. Even the judge said that is not justice at all. Number 3, they argue that the 3 statements that were made, I love how they still put allegedly here, even though she lost the case, you couldn't even bring those statements to begin with. So this shouldn't have even been a trial. And around number 5, that's where things really get interesting. I mean, remember all of those interviews in the aftermath of the trial where she and her lawyers, they were saying, we had all of this medical evidence. If you just saw it, that would have swayed the trial. Yeah. Lies. This is a cell phone. Why? Because apparently those so-called medical records, they're communications with medical providers. So we're talking about words here, not x-rays. We're not talking treatment. We're talking about words from AH. That means nothing at all. She also includes in here communications with several third parties. Those third parties, JD's employees, her employees, friends and families, and these are about interactions with JD, substance abuse, him supposedly being, I'm going to say, accostive, and her fear for her safety. Again, all her words. So when you get down to that so-called medical evidence, they lied about it. But of course they did. Now, they are really salty about charitable donations coming into this too. They have always been that way. And like the judge in LA said, it's not about JD bringing that in. He wouldn't have been able to if it wasn't for AH. She brought this stuff up. She bragged about it in the media. She took the clout and she said, I gave away all of it. Why? Because of what JD did. That allowed him to bring it in and say, nah, you know what? You never did any of that at all. Now, number 7 is about his reputation prior to the publication of the op-ed. They're saying it was messed up already. We didn't get to add all of our evidence for that. And that's crazy considering how many hit pieces they brought up in the trial. I mean, think about that. They brought up dozens of them. But then again, they had around 10 pages worth of articles they were talking about presenting. Oh, yeah, it was some nasty work there. Now, number 8, this gets into the trial itself. It's saying, there was a sustained objection during the cross-examination of JD to a question about the truth of one of his allegedly defamatory statements on the ground that it called for a legal conclusion. So, we should get to overturn it because of that one. Number 9, well, JD, he got to argue or suggest that the jury could award damages based on statements or conduct occurring prior to the publication of the challenged op-ed. I don't remember that being argued at all. I would love to see proof of that, by the way. Number 10, JD, he was allowed to argue or suggest at trial and the jury to consider whether the allegedly defamatory statements in the challenged op-ed were republications of statements AH made in connection with the 2016 DVTRO, which she obtained against JD. Yeah, she doesn't like her past being brought up. Not at all. Now, number 11 is about jury instructions and actual malice. They're saying, you didn't explain it right. You shot down a proposed jury instruction, CC. Yeah, that's what lost it for us. Not AH, not terrible lawyers, no, that. Number 12, they denied motions to strike to set aside the jury verdict with regard to JD's failure to prove publication by AH's. Now from there, it's all about overturning the jury's decision. And I love number 12 because this throws the Washington Post under the bus. It says, hey, you couldn't prove this statement. It was actually AH that did it. She was saying the Washington Post. They're the ones that made it. Also, when it comes to those statements, you can't prove that it conveyed any kind of defamatory meaning about him by implication and that she designed and intended that as well. Also, while you're at it, you know that thing about actual malice? You didn't prove that by clear and convincing evidence. And also, those awards by the jury, yeah, that was a little excessive. You should have kicked that to the curb as well. I love this, like I said, because this is a loser. And when you think about loss, she's going to be $8 to $15 million on the hook with costs. She's being sued as part of that. Her lawyers are turning on her with that stuff too. $7 million to charity. $10 million to JD. She's done. I mean, she knows she's done. That's why she's been freaking out about this too. Oh, it's beautiful there. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. As always, too, appreciate the heck out of you. Check out the links in the description as well. We can always use your help and share this, too. Gonna end here with that. Thank you again. Oh, man, this stuff is glorious. See you soon.